Hello, it's Patty Jo. I see a Darrell Brooks sentencing. Yay! Like he needs more time, but I have not watched it. This is all fresh for me too. And so I pulled up my breakfast, stopped the video, and we are going to take a look at it. I do have some people coming to fix my garage door, so hopefully I won't have to pause. I do encourage you to support my grandson at his school fundraiser. He is a really good kid, not to me, but really good kid to everybody else. He's getting to be a teenager now, but he is raising money for his new school, which is Northeast Middle School in Maryland, and he is a really smart kid and works really hard. So please support him at his new middle school. He tested, I guess, on the math tests at the top 1%, not in his grade, not in his school, in the entire state, which only 2% of all the kids in the state tested on that level, which is a level 4. And he is one of those very few kids in the state of Maryland. So please support him. He has had such a rough time skipping from school to school, being displaced, and I think he just needs a boost to his little tiny ego to know that he's important. So if you would consider doing that, it's in the description, links in the description. I'm going to also put it in the comments, and support your schools, your middle schools and things. I know we all pay taxes, but let's moving on to making fun of more Darrell, because I have a funny feeling this is going to go well. This is from Court TV's YouTube channel. So let us watch this.
I believe that you are on the path that you say that you are. Russ, can you get him tissue from Mr. Torbenson? You have an empty box in front of you, I believe.
It's my breakfast. Oh my God, he's crying.
The problem is, as I have to sentence you for these offenses,
look at him.
I have to look at your behavior for these offenses.
Yeah.
I have a question for you before I get to my comments from that.
By the way, not only the men can be the narcissist in the relationship and the abusive one. Sometimes the women can.
In looking at your record, something jumps out at me.
What?
You have a number of offenses starting in 1999 all the way up to 2011. Some gaps. What happened? What were you doing between 2011 and 2020? Did you live here? Did you live somewhere else? You don't seem to have any criminal contact. What were you doing?
I did live out on the West Coast.
Is that when you had that was a 2007 Nevada case? Were you in trouble out there, or were you living a...
No, I was thriving, Your Honor. I was thriving. I was working. Had a great relationship with my children.
How old are your children?
21, 17, 13, and my youngest daughter just started taking last week.
Which is the one that you shared with EP?
My 17-year-old daughter. Who's starting to spill me college. And I'm missing it.
Yes.
Well, you are.
How many of you think that he is still just worried about himself? I'm missing it. It's not even about her. It's not even about her going to college. It's about, I'm missing it. I'm missing it.
But
I'm
that's
so proud of her.
that is an amazing accomplishment. I'm glad to hear that.
She graduated a year early because her academics was so up to par. And I didn't get a chance to see her walk across the stage.
I didn't get a chance to see her walk across the stage. It's not about you. He's still Darrell.
She sounds extraordinary. All right. So you were doing well. Right up until you weren't. So looking at this, it strikes me that you don't have a relationship that goes on for 17 years, or roughly about thereabouts. And the very first incident of violence between the two of you results in you following her to a hotel, banging on her door, and when she tries to get away from you, following her, cornering her, punching her in the face, and ultimately running her over. That was absolutely outrageous. And you are so very lucky that it was her leg versus her torso or her head, which would have killed her likely. Your behavior was so outrageous that it can't be downplayed. And I look at that in isolation. I look at that as this is someone whom you've had a long relationship with, whom you have created a child, and you disposed of her as if she were roadkill. And that behavior by itself is outrageous. Then you factor in the intimidation. The quotes from that those jail calls. Not the usual. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of intimidating jail calls that involve, let's be together. If you want us to be together, you have to get this drop so we can be together. And I can show you how very much I love. I've heard that a million times on jail calls. But when that didn't seem to work, you doubled down and intimidated her in such a manner Mr. Jones may say it's not the worst because there wasn't any.
Thank you so much to Kelly Hyman for joining us today. Jack Rice is sticking around, and coming up next, Michael Ayala joining me for more from the sentencing hearing for Darrell Brooks, plus day one of testimony in the Judge Jumper attempted murder trial for Deborah Redden begins again.
Safety and felony intimidation of a victim in exchange for prosecutors dropping 6 other counts.
He faces up to 10 years in prison and $25,000 on each count, plus additional monetary penalties because of his relationship to the victim. Remember, a girlfriend at the time, an ex-girlfriend now. Let's go back in now for more of the sentencing as the judge is telling him what she thinks before she makes her decision.
House to court on the day she was supposed to come and testify and ran her off the road or did any of those things. Of course that could have happened, but we were 10 days out from the incident. There was no trial at that point. Who knows what may have happened at some point. This is the very first part where the only thing you're in control of is trying to get her to call the police, call the DA's office and say, I'm not in, I'm not prosecuting. So that was what you had at your disposal, was just to so berate her and so humiliate her and scare her. So as to get her to do your bidding. Because you're locked up, right? So you can't get her.
And what she's directing that to is it's just all a matter of control. In a lot of these abusive situations, it is a matter of control. Even my grandson abused in the situation because she was trying to control the situation. Okay. Never mind.
But what you did was you told her, I got guys. I got guys who are going to get you. The minute you walk out your house, they're going to get you. If I wanted you dead, I'd kill you. You'd be dead. That is a horrible, horrible way to live. Because she may have 99% thought you were full of it. But that 1%, when she hears a noise in the house, or sends your daughter off to school. And your daughter in high school, half an hour late, coming home from school, talking with her friends, busy, whatever. And what does that do to EP? Oh my God. Did someone grab her? Is this it? Did he call those guys? Because I didn't do his bidding fast enough. That's absolutely horrendous behavior. And it is who you were. It's who you demonstrated yourself to be. Whether that was the full content of your character, I can't speak to. But on those days, that's who you demonstrated yourself to be. I very much hope that you are on the path that you described. Because you likely have a very long life ahead of you. You spoke to your prisons, your custody status. Are you held in segregation? Are you by yourself? What goes on there?
Housed in SIG.
You are.
Yes.
I appreciate the efforts that you're undertaking to better yourself. To say, this is not okay. And I've got to figure out why I thought it was. And if that is going to come through classes or anger management or reflection, as you put it, all the better.
She has been way too generous. She is being way, way, way too generous. This he is never going to get out of the narcissistic mindset. He is so entrenched in it.
I have no idea, nor am I considering what's going to happen with appeals and all of that sort of thing. But you have to live with yourself. And getting right with yourself is going to serve you as well as humanity. So, the first thing, as Mr. Jones mentioned, is that I need to consider whether probation is appropriate. No one's asking for probation. Probation is not at all appropriate here. So I reject that. So this will be a prison sentence. You asked, and I promised that I would take this as it was for itself, and I will. This incident happened before Waukesha, and I don't mean to, by any sense, give short shrift to what happened there, but this is what is before this court. So I do believe that this is a prison sentence. I also adopt the state's theory of these are separate acts. Your behavior in what happened at that hotel and then following her to the gas station and running her over was one day. And then you came to jail. Not in the situation any further, not faced with her, not presumably in the midst of anger. You may have been angry about a variety of things, but not in a face-to-face, we're having an argument, anger. And you opted to violate the court's orders by contacting her, by contacting your mother and putting her in the middle of everything, and contacting EP directly and saying the things that you said, which were horrible. And I suspect she will never forget them. Because after a relationship of that length, you may be a voice that is in her head. And I'm very sorry for her for that. Conditions of time that you are serving will include absolutely, positively no contact with EP. You have said that your child with EP is 17 years old. The state is not seeking a no contact order with her, are you? With the child?
No.
No, I'm not going to do that. She's about to start college. She will be in charge of whether there will be any contact. There is a request for restitution. Have you gone over that, Mr. Jones?
There's a stipulation on that.
Okay. Restitution in the amount of $656.96 will be made payable to the Crime Victim Compensation Program. You will have to pay the DNA surcharge as well as the domestic abuse assessment and any mandatory costs, fees, and assessments. I'm going to waive any non-mandatory. You don't have the ability to pay any more than you are going to have to pay. So I will waive those due to your inability to pay. What I have ordered will be due and payable from your prison funds at a rate to be determined by the Department of Corrections, then will be payable as part of any sort of extended supervision that you're released on. And if you are, if it's not paid by the end of extended supervision, it will convert to a civil judgment. You are now a convicted felon. You may not possess any firearms. You cannot vote until your civil rights are restored. This was a violent felony, so you may not possess body armor. And if you violate that no contact order, you could face additional charges. I am going to order, strike that. I'm going to encourage you. And I say this because of your custody status. I'm going to encourage you to participate in any sort of programming that is available to you. I'm not ordering it because it may conflict directly with your custody situation. And I don't want to put you in a situation where you cannot do something that I've ordered because of your custody situation. So I'm going to encourage you to take domestic violence intervention programming, anger management, and individual therapy. Whether that will be made available to you as part of your prison sentence, I don't know. If for some reason,
I will do my part to find out. So
I know you will. If for some reason you are released on extended supervision on this case and released into the community, those will revert to being suggestions to orders. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're released, they will be court orders then, if you have not already completed them in your prison setting. So now I need to turn to the amount of the sentence. As Mr. Jones noted, this was punishable by the possibility of ten years initial confinement and 10 years extended supervision as totals, if I ran them consecutively. I do give you credit for entering no contest pleas to these charges and not putting EP through a trial. I do take into account the entirety of your situation. Therefore, I am going to sentence you as follows. On 21 CF 4596, count 3, the second degree recklessly endangering safety with the domestic abuse enhancement, I will sentence you to 9 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 4 years and 6 months initial confinement, and 4 years and 6 months extended supervision. On 21 CF 5020, count 1, the intimidation of a witness, I will sentence you to 9 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 4 years and 6 months initial confinement, and 4 years and 6 months extended supervision. Those counts will be consecutive to one another because they were decisions made on different days. You made volitional decisions to engage in that behavior on separate days, and it will also be consecutive to any sentences that you are serving from any other jurisdiction. That is the judgment of the court. You do have the right to appeal my sentence, and Mr. Jones will go through those rights with you. I wish you well, Mr. Brooks.
35. Judge, the credit?
He does not have credit given the way that I've structured. 18 days credit on
4596.
Yep, 21 CF 4596. 18 days independent credit on that one.
Because you ran a consecutive. Because you ran a consecutive to option.
No, it doesn't, but I have to mark something. Oh, I have found, based upon the seriousness of these crimes and the way that I have structured the sentence, as well as the entirety of the situation, that you are not eligible for the challenge incarceration program or the substance abuse program.
So, Judge, it's the court's position that the 990 days from December 20th through today's date, he does not get because he has those on the Waukesha case, given that it's consecutive, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. That's your order.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused, Your Honor.
You were held on bail on those cases, on the Waukesha cases, because you were sentenced there first. Presumably you got sentence credit on those. If I'm wrong on that, your post-conviction attorneys will file a motion.
Okay.
But because of the way I have structured them, that it's consecutive to those, you don't get credit twice. So I think you got credit in Waukesha, so I don't give you credit now because one comes after the other.
And once again, he's just thinking about himself and the number of days he can get as credit for the other crimes that he committed. This whole system just boggles my mind.
What?
I think I was.
Except for the 18 days when you were held between the time you were arrested and you bailed out.
She's wrong, the DOC will correct it.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the 973-155 statute. That's the way I looked at the time served. The Wisconsin statute 973-155, 1 in subsection A.
Okay, I appreciate your position. I disagree. So if there's a post-conviction problem, your attorney can file a motion. Okay? All right.
I filed it.
Good luck.
Just so you know, I filed it all already. I filed all your post-conviction already. Okay.
Okay,
911 was
okay,
flooded with
okay,
numerous
okay,
calls
okay.
about this driver.
Stop. We'll do this one later if we do it. Okay, so I disagree. I want credit for 900 years. He is like 1,000 years. All right. I hope they let me post this one because it was a court TV thing. I don't know. We'll see. I hope. But there it is. Darrell gets 18 years for running her over 3 weeks before he ran over all those other people. And then he argues about like 18 and 900 days. Or I don't know. Just wow. He wants credit. so what? Oh my gosh. Okay. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, dislike, whatever you like to do. See you later. Bye.